Hello friends, just going to spend a few minutes going over the rubric scoring guide for your chemistry project. Want to be sure that you know how you're being scored on this project. So we will switch over to the rubric here and I will just take you through all of the sections. There are points being awarded for requirements, citations, information, spelling and grammar, and design elements. The librarians will be scoring all of those except for information, and information will be scored by your chem teacher. So we will begin with requirements. If you would like to earn 10 points on the requirements, you must have all of the required elements in the correct order. So pay attention to that checklist that Mr. Lum went over with you, and be sure that you are using that and making sure all of your slides are there and all of them are in the correct section, or in the correct order, sorry. And then you also need to have a fun section, and if you're doing a word one, you must use 10 words. As you either miss elements or get them out of order, then you will lose points. So it's 10, 8, 6, 4, 0. If you are missing 4 or more required elements, which I don't think anybody will, or you get them that much out of order, you will not get any points for this section. Again, just be sure you use the checklist to make sure you've met all the requirements. For your citations, you need to have 2 citations, and they need to at least 2. You can have more if you want. They need to be from library resources, and they need to be in correct MLA format. I will say that doing MLA formatting in Google Slides is challenging, so you may want to do that formatting in Word, for example, and then just screenshot and paste it into your slide. That will probably work better for you. If you're having trouble with MLA formatting, please be sure to ask. If you have 1 or 2 errors, you will lose 1 point. It's only worth 5 points from the start. If you have 3 to 5 errors, you will get 3 points, and 6 or more errors, you will get 2 points. If you don't have any citations, obviously you will not get any points for that section. That has only happened a very few times. Please do not be that person. Information is worth 15 points because this is a very important part of the assignment, obviously. We want you to have well-developed paragraphs that are full of facts, okay? We want you to have appropriate vocab for your audience and your topic. It needs to be in your own words. And then your atomic model needs to be accurate and complete. Very important that you use the checklist because there are a lot of things you need to do on that atomic model, and you need to be sure that you do all of the steps. So make sure you use the checklist for that. Getting down to a 12, you have not enough information is the most likely reason you're going to get 12. You might not use your own words. Your atomic model might be missing some information. A 10, not enough information again. Some of your vocabulary not appropriate for your audience and your topic. Mostly in your own words. You're missing some info in your atomic model. And then 5 and 0 are the other ones. I don't think anyone's going to be in that boat, but please be sure you check those to make sure that's not you. Spelling and grammar, those got separated on the page there, but they go together. Worth 5 points again. 0 spelling and grammar errors for your full 5 points, so be sure that you are paying attention to that. Have somebody proofread your slide deck for you is a really good idea. They can use your checklist and make sure you've met all the requirements. They can also read for spelling and grammar. If you have 1 error, you will get 4 points. If you have 2 to 3 errors, you will get 3 points. That's down to 66%, so be sure that you are really paying attention to that. 4 errors is 2 points, and 5 or more, you will get 0 for that section. So please be sure that you are carefully proofreading. Design elements is the other key piece to this because that's part of what we're practicing in this assignment, is making sure that you are able to create presentations that are visually pleasing and interesting to your viewer. So we're looking at things like color and space and scale. We want to talk about balance and harmony and pixelation and legibility, and you will have gone over all of that in the presentation. You want to be sure that your project is readable. That is key, readable. That means that you're using fonts that people can read. If you're using handwriting, people can read your handwriting. It should be error-free. It should be visually interesting. Your pictures should match your topic, okay? Your comic strip text should be readable. This one is one that a lot of kids miss a point or two here because their comic strip becomes really small and their text becomes so small that it is impossible to read. So be sure that you're paying attention to that and making sure your text is readable. Font size and style, and we're going to talk about doing some fun things with font and show you a lot of examples of that. You don't want it to be too crazy, but you want it to be appropriate for your project. You don't want it to just all be Times New Roman 12-point font because that's not really visually interesting. But you also don't want it to be something so crazy that nobody can read it and it's not legible. Text is left justified. That means it should all be all the way over to the left side of the margin of your text box. No centered text, okay? So we'll draw a thing here, centered. No, we don't want to center our text. We want you to have margins. It's really important when you are doing design to think about not filling up every single centimeter of the space. All right? So you will get scored in, oh, sorry, I didn't talk about how you lose points in this section, my fault. 1 to 3 errors in readability will get you down to a 12. You still would meet all the other things. Comic strip text somewhat readable. Again, this is where I mentioned you may lose points on that, so be careful. Font size and style somewhat appropriate and legible. 10, it's readable, but you have 4 to 5 errors, or it's not visually interesting, or your pictures don't match your topic. Your comic strip text is difficult to read. So be paying attention to all of the things in this design category as you are working on your project, and we can show you some really fun and easy ways to make your presentation more visually interesting, how to create comic strips using comic book generators so the text will be legible, etc. Please feel free to ask us for help on any of this if you want it. Okay, so you'll get a score for each page and then you'll get your total points. If you turn in your project late, you will lose points. Please talk to your chem teacher about what that means for your class. And if you have any questions on any of this, please don't hesitate to reach out and ask. You can reach any of the librarians at library@jesuitmail.org. Thanks, friends. Have a great day.